So first of all, I am in Filipino attire except for the turtleneck. And I think you can probably guess why I have a turtleneck on, because this weather is very cold. It never gets cold in the Philippines. Filipino people think it's cold when it gets 70. I think it feels great. They will put on sweaters like your pastor has on if it's 70 outside. But I go, oh, it's very, very nice. Okay. Welcome to the Philippines. The Philippines has their flag fixed so that if they are at peace, the blue is on top. If they are at war, the red is on top. Mindanao, where I serve, you see down there at the bottom where it says Mindanao, that big island down there, that's Mindanao. That's where our college is located. It has been in conflict for decades between the Christians and the Muslims. The Muslims want their own state, independent state, and they have been trying, in fact, as far back as 1945, when the United States gave Philippines their independence. The Muslims wanted that to either be an independent state or still be part of the United States, but the United States wouldn't grant that. The Philippines is 90% Christian. 80% of those are Catholics. So only 10% of the Filipinos are Christians other than Catholics, and that includes the United Methodists. The other 5 to 10% are the Muslims, and the concentration of the Muslims is in Mindanao. There are 180 dialects, but all the students are taught English and their native national language of Tagalog. Southern Philippines Methodist Colleges is where I serve. It's a 4-year college. It is the only Methodist college in Mindanao. Now, there's some other Methodist colleges up north, but it takes quite a bit of money to be able to go up north, plus it takes more money to go. So we're the only one there in the Mindanao. We are located at the foot of Mount Apo. That's the highest point in the Philippines. It's 9,692 feet. It's not that high, and it never has snow on it because it's too hot. At we call it SPMC, Southern Philippines Methodist Colleges. And since this is a small group, if you have questions as I go, just raise your hand. We train pastors. That's one of our first priorities, is that we train the Methodist pastors. They go 4 years. They get a Bachelor of Arts in Theology, and after they graduate, they can be assigned as a local pastor in the local church. Are you familiar with deaconesses? Do you know what a deaconess is? No, they're not a deacon. a deaconess is a lady who has committed her life to serving Christ, but not in a ordained way. Now, the deaconesses in the United States are different than the deaconesses in the Philippines. The deaconesses in the Philippines have to be working in the church. A deaconess here in the United States can be working in a helping profession like medical, but there they have to be working in a church. So the deaconesses will teach in the preschools that are associated with the Methodist churches, and they have many with the preschool. So they will teach the preschool, they will do the music, they will be the Sunday school teacher, and they will help the pastor. They're very busy. Their course is 5 years. Because they have to be certified to teach, they have to have the regular 4-year course, and then the other year is for their religious training, although it's scattered through the 5 years. We have Bachelor of Elementary Education, so that we can train the teachers, and we have a 2-year program for computer science. We also have preschool, because the preschool is associated with our Bachelor of Early Childhood Education, which is the deaconess. So on this left side of that building is the kindergarten, and the right side is the music room for the college. There's just the inside of our preschool. And if you walk up the road then, over there on the right-hand side, the first building is the library. The building with the blue on top is the administration, and then the other is the classrooms. And then on the left, right across from the library, is the canteen where the students eat. Now, many of our students come to SPMC. I don't think we've ever had anyone that came that really has a lot of money. Mindanao, most of the people are very poor, and most of our students, generally their families are farmers. They have very little. They have very little money. There's low income, so the students that are privileged get to be on food service, which means they can eat without paying for it. That money comes basically from donations from here in the United States. So all of them can't be on the food service program, but we base it either on grade point average, and that's an incentive for them to get their grades up, then they can have free food, or if they really, really need it, then we'll put them on food service. The students see if they were at home they could eat because the food would be on the table and they'd all share, but parents don't have money to give them to buy when they get there. There's a close-up of our library. That's the newest building that was dedicated in 2007. That's the inside. And that's one side of it with the computers. The other side is similar. This is theology side. The other side is the education. This is one of our classrooms. It serves as a classroom and as our biology lab. And that's the computer lab. All students have to take computer for at least one semester. You walk up the road, it makes a circle. So if you go straight where you see that building, that's the girls' dorm. If you go on to the left, there'll be the boys' dorm, and then the chapel, so that if you see that little road there on the left, you can go that way to the chapel. And there they are, going to our chapel. It sits by a little creek. I think it's very conducive to worship. I love our campus. It sits back away from the highway, 300 meters, and the students hate it because it's too far. That's too far to get to the highway, and they don't like it. And our chapel, like I say, is just very conducive because it sits there by the little creek and it's very quiet. And we have our students divided into teams, and each team is responsible for chapel. And here's one of our praise and worship teams that usually start the chapel service. And that one happened to be a creative chapel worship that was put on by one of our theology classes. There's the boys' dorm. There's the girls' dorm. There's the inside of the girls' dorm. I think some of you saw that picture downstairs. They have 5 bunk beds in each room, so there's 10 students in a room. They're all squashed in there. And we have spaces for 30 students. Now there's the dancers in the malong. See how they've got the malong even lifted way up there around their neck. But see, that's a native dance. That's one of the typical native dances with the poles. The men will hold the poles and the girl will do things with it on the floor and then get up on it. That was during Language Week. This was our spiritual retreat for our students held in our chapel. We held it for one day, and they ended the evening with a bonfire. I didn't understand why they wanted a bonfire. We didn't stay by the bonfire very long because it was too hot.